The Empire had ruled the outer spiral arm of the galaxy for 12,000 years. Their ships were fast. Their weapons were powerful. Their soldiers numbered in the billions. When they discovered the small blue planet called Earth, they saw nothing special. Just another primitive world to conquer, just another species to enslave. Admiral stood on the bridge of his warship and watched the human colony on burn. 7 million humans lived there. Farmers, scientists, children, and families who had traveled 4 light-years to build a new home among the stars. They gave them no warning. They sent no demands. They simply arrived with 500 warships and opened fire. The colony had no military fleet. They had 3 patrol ships and a handful of defense satellites. The battle lasted 11 minutes. When it ended, the entire colony was ash and smoke. 7 million humans died in a single afternoon. The Empire broadcast the destruction across all communication channels. They wanted the galaxy to see. They wanted Earth to understand its place. On Earth, people watched the footage in silence. In New York and Tokyo and Lagos in Mumbai, billions of humans stared at screens and saw their brothers and sisters die. Parents watched their children burn. Husbands watched their wives disappear in nuclear fire. The world went quiet for 3 days. No music played. No celebrations happened. Earth mourned in a way the galaxy had never witnessed before. The Galactic Council observed this from their station at the center of known space. Representatives from 47 species watched the human reaction with curiosity. They had destroyed countless worlds before. Most species surrendered immediately after such displays. Others fled to the edges of the galaxy. A few tried to fight and were quickly crushed. Ambassador of the Federation spoke to his colleagues. He told them that humans would surrender within a standard week. He explained that all species behave the same when faced with overwhelming force. They accept their fate. They bow to their new masters. The council members agreed with him. They had seen this pattern repeat itself hundreds of times across millions of years. But humans did not surrender. On the 4th day after the massacre, every government on Earth dissolved itself. Every nation, every territory, every disputed border simply ceased to exist. In their place rose a single entity called the United Earth Defense Command. 8 billion humans spoke with one voice for the first time in their history. That voice said only 3 words that echoed through every transmission into space. "We are coming." The Empire found this amusing. Admiral received the transmission and laughed with his officers. He told them that primitive species always make threats they cannot keep. Earth had a small fleet of 60 ships. They commanded over 20,000 warships across their territory. The mathematics of war were simple, and they did not favor humanity. What they did not understand was human history. They did not know about the trenches of the First World War, where millions died in mud and poison gas yet still kept fighting. They did not know about Stalingrad, where soldiers fought room by room through frozen ruins. They did not know about the human capacity for sacrifice, for vengeance, for patient and terrible determination. Earth went silent for 18 months. All communications stopped. All trade vessels returned home. The planet went dark, and the galaxy forgot about the small blue world and its empty threats. The Empire continued its expansion. They conquered 3 more systems and enslaved 2 billion members of the gentle species. Admiral received a promotion for his successful destruction of the human colony. He built a palace on the and filled it with treasures from conquered civilizations. He displayed a piece of metal from the human colony as a trophy in his dining hall. He liked to show it to guests and tell the story of how easily the humans died. On the day everything changed, was hosting a celebration for his officers. Music played in his palace. Food and drink filled every table. His guests praised his victories and predicted more conquests to come. None of them noticed the small flash of light in the sky above the city. The first human ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly above the capital, but it was not the kind of ship the galaxy had seen before. Earth's scientists had spent 18 months doing what humans do best. They looked at every piece of technology they could find. They studied every captured weapon, every engine component, every shield generator. Then they made it better. The ship was called the Remembrance. It was 3 kilometers long and carried weapons that should not have existed according to science. Behind it, 999 more ships appeared. 1,000 vessels of war, each one named for a human hero, each one crewed by volunteers who had lost family on. The defense fleet scrambled to respond. They had 200 ships in orbit around there. Admiral abandoned his celebration and raced to his command ship. He issued orders with confidence. The numbers still favored his people. 1,000 human ships against 200 was dangerous, but not impossible to overcome. The first exchange of fire proved him wrong. Human weapons cut through shields like they did not exist. Human ships moved faster than sensors could track. In the first 5 minutes, the entire defense fleet became burning wreckage. Admiral watched from his command bridge as his empire's pride turned to scattered debris. The human fleet did not stop to celebrate their victory. They did not pause to demand surrender. They descended on them with cold efficiency. Every military installation burned. Every weapons factory melted into slag. Every government building crumbled into dust. The humans targeted only military and leadership structures. They killed no civilians, destroyed no homes, harmed no children. This confused the Galactic Council more than the military victory. They had killed 7 million human civilians without hesitation. Yet the humans, in their moment of absolute power, chose restraint. Ambassador could not understand this behavior. He asked his colleagues if perhaps humans were simply weak, unable to complete what they started. Admiral tried to escape the planet in a small transport ship. Human sensors detected him immediately. A single fighter craft intercepted his vessel and forced it to land in an empty field outside the burning capital. When emerged from his ship, he found a human woman waiting for him. She wore a simple uniform with no decorations. Her face showed no emotion. She introduced herself as Commander Sarah. Her husband and 2 daughters had lived on. They were among the 7 million. She told this in a steady voice, watching his reaction. The admiral prepared for death. He had killed her family, and now she would kill him. This was the way of things in the galaxy. But Commander did not kill him. She handed him a small device and explained what it contained. Every piece of evidence documenting the massacre, every order he had given, every celebration he had held afterward, every trophy he had collected from the dead. The device also contained a simple message from the United Earth Defense Command. The message explained that Admiral would live. He would stand trial before the Galactic Council. He would face justice under laws that predated the Empire itself. He would spend the rest of his life answering for what he had done. Death would have been a mercy. The humans were not feeling merciful. Across the galaxy, the military collapsed in a matter of weeks. Human ships appeared at every major installation, every fleet gathering point, every strategic position. They had learned everything during their 18 months of silence. They had mapped every weakness and exploited each one with surgical precision. The other species of the galaxy watched in stunned silence. The recently enslaved by the found themselves suddenly free. Human ships appeared above their worlds not as conquerors but as liberators. Medical supplies and food arrived before the former slaves could even ask for help. Ambassador requested a meeting with the human representative to the Galactic Council. He wanted to understand how such a small species had achieved the impossible. How had 60 ships become 1,000? How had primitive technology surpassed empire-level weapons in less than 2 years? The human ambassador was an elderly man named David. He had lost his son on. He sat across from and answered his questions with patience. He explained that humans have a word that does not translate well into other languages. The word is spite. When humans suffer, he explained, they do not simply endure. They do not simply survive. They remember. They plan. They prepare. And then they make whoever hurt them regret every single moment of pain they caused. Humans can hold grudges across generations. They can nurse hatred until it becomes fuel for impossible achievements. They killed 7 million humans and thought they had won. Instead, they had simply given 8 billion people a reason to push past every limit, break every boundary, and achieve things that should have taken centuries in mere months. Grief and rage became the engine of human innovation. The Galactic Council voted to recognize the United Earth Defense Command as a major galactic power. They also passed new laws protecting civilian populations during wartime. These laws became known as the Accords. Any species that violated them would face the combined response of the entire council. Admiral stood trial for 200 days, survivors against him. Evidence buried him under mountains of guilt. When the verdict came, he was sentenced to imprisonment on a barren asteroid at the edge of known space. He would live out his natural in complete isolation, surrounded only by recordings of the 7 million lives he had ended. Commander returned to Earth after the war. She visited the memorial that had been built for the colony. 7 million names were carved into walls of black stone that stretched for kilometers. She found her husband's name. She found her daughter's names. She touched the cold stone and finally allowed herself to cry. The galaxy had witnessed 7 million humans fall. They had expected Earth to bow, to break, to accept its place among the conquered. Instead, they learned a truth that would echo through the stars for to come. Humanity does not break. Humanity does not bow. Humanity remembers. And humanity always makes you pay.